up? Season 2 of offTopiK podcast. Where's the
This is
song?
where you're supposed to.
Hey.
Totally Put the drink down, engineer. Put the drink down, engineer. Like it's not.
Come on.
You with
All
it.
right. Well, I'm Kim.
This is Tanya.
Hey. And we have a special guest if you're looking at the middle of the screen. This is Rowen Turner. There you go.
Good job.
That was great. Look at you catching on.
We only have those two though, right? We don't have any other ones.
No.
We need
We're- all right. So I just want to say, let me introduce this beautiful, beautiful person that I know and I get to share my everyday with, you know, my Monday through Friday, but also on the weekends. So sometimes, but we got to do more. Anyway, this is Rowen. She has this beautiful book that she has written. It is called Unbecoming, and is letting go of what no longer serves you. Woo! That was the time. That was a time of like, come on, clapping.
I think we should have a rule where the engineer can't drink at all.
We shouldn't drink at all.
The engineer is not drinking.
Oh, sure. Okay. All right. Moving on. Anyway, so she wrote this beautiful book. It is actually not just a prop. It is actually a book that is out there. And it's called Unbecoming. And I have read it. And I have some questions about it. So, Rowen, welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
So she's an author.
She's an author.
COO.
She's
a wife.
Yeah.
She's a mother.
Yep.
She's all the things.
All the things.
All the things.
What other titles you got that I don't know about?
She's all the things. I'm like, I don't have all those boxes checked.
Yes.
I love that.
So, with that, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you're ready for this.
I think I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I am. But if I'm not, we here.
We're here.
I think I am. Just heels 3 times.
And, you know, we'll do that. So, the first thing I want to ask you is, what made you write this book?
Facts.
That's the first question. Like, I mean, everybody wants to write a book, right? Everybody says that they can write a book. But what inspired you to write the book?
So I don't remember the exact moment. This is one of those times where you realize you should just journal more regularly, just to capture so you can go back.
Okay, journal.
You know, and
journal
and remember like what you were thinking at the moment.
Okay.
I do know though that there was a point in my life several years ago where I feel like life started to make sense.
Ooh.
Like life started to feel easier. Like you know, like the big life questions. Like I was starting to
read the book.
It was just like life was starting to be easier, more joyful, and there was a part of me that said like, how can I help other people experience what this looks like or feels like, and dissect what I've been so grateful God's been able to teach me through my life lessons and experiences, and how do I unpack that, impart that in a way that feels more pragmatic instead of like religious sounding or you know or archaic or whatever. And so it started first as me wanting to write a journal for my kids.
Okay.
And I think the seed was planted where I had read a book. It was called The Last Lecture. I can't remember the name of the doctor now, but it's a professor who found out, I think he had like terminal cancer, and he had young kids. And so he knew his death was imminent.
He had to just
and so he wrote a book.
His life.
Yeah.
He wrote a book called The Last Lecture that had like all the lessons that he wanted to teach his kids, knowing that he wasn't going to be there
Isn't that
anymore.
a movie with Julia Roberts?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe they made.
It was called Stepmom. I think it was called Stepmom.
I remember the
Where
stepmom.
The lady was dying.
Yes.
And she knew she was dying, and then
She
had
did the
Julia
journal.
Roberts
Yeah, like the
and she started
videos.
journaling.
Oh,
and doing the videos.
Yes.
I remember that.
I'm not saying you copied. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I mean, but
Or the guy-
inspiration,
the guy
the
copied,
seed
yeah.
planted.
Yes,
you
the
know?
seed was planted.
Because at first it was really just going to be, you know, like my coaching kind of book or just my notes on the side that I would use when I work with clients. But then there was a lot more, I think, faith-based things that I don't necessarily go into with my clients. And I was like, oh, I could like write it for my kids, and tomorrow's not promised, and I could have it for their kids and what have you. And because I know kids maybe lose stuff or spill water on books and stuff, I was like, if I publish it, then they can always find a copy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you not do faith? Do you not infuse faith opinion with your clients because of what? When you said, "Oh, it's faith-based," I don't go into that with my clients.
Not necessarily. If they're not Christian, then I don't go there. I will always lean into faith, but I'll anchor it into whatever faith background they have, or try to understand that, because I'm not all knowing in all the faiths in the world.
Yeah.
But I'll ask them, like, where does that belief come from, or what's your
Okay.
background? Like, help
Okay.
me understand. And then even if I don't know what that details around that religion or belief system, I'll just ask, like, help me understand what this means or what that means or why you think that. But it helps me understand their belief system so that I can, like, work with them through that.
And understand how they're walking.
It gets tricky sometimes. I'm like, oh, both of you. Why
Oh,
not?
I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. I just feel like
Right.
I'm doing this the whole
No, it's okay. It's
We're
great.
Gonna
It's
change,
fine.
We're gonna change the
The
schematics.
yeah,
of
yeah,
it,
yeah. It's great.
Soon, but it's fine.
That's okay. As long as I don't look like this to you guys.
No, I just want you to feel comfortable. Do you need to, like? You can move back a little bit if you want, so that you could just, like, your peripheral
Whatever
vision
you
has
want to
us
do, we
both-
want you to feel comfortable.
Yeah, feel
I think it's
comfortable.
fine.
Totally
We're good.
comfortable.
We're
You're
All
good.
right,
Golden here.
cool. But that's awesome that you said that. Like, you kind of try to give that advice based on their faith. You know what I mean? Like, and you try to understand their faith so that when you're coaching them, because you are a coach, and you try to, like, gauge them to kind of, like, go back to their faith, but kind of still give them the advice that you're trying to give them, like, and coach them through it.
Yeah.
Right. The amazing part that I get to experience is that you get to be my coach, my mentor, and my boss.
Yeah.
Which I love. You know what I mean? Because you do inspire me to be you in my next life. You know what I mean? Like, whatever that life is, and I say that in my next life.
It could be this.
Yeah. The next
Yeah,
chapter.
it
next
is
milestone.
my next chapter.
Your
How about that?
milestone. Sure.
Because I did say I wanted to have a divorce party, but we'll go to that in the next subject. So anyway, so that is what inspired you to do the book?
It was being there for my kids, and then I think I always wanted to send it out to more people or share it more widely.
Okay.
But there's a like I've always been behind the scenes. I've not very been like a in the front kind of person. Like, who am I to be an author? Who am I to put my stuff out there?
Okay.
So I think it was easier for me as I'm looking back, easier
Write
for
it,
me to
document.
accept.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Document, write it down.
Document.
Yeah.
Easier for it to release it like to my family, you know. But I really felt in my spirit God pushing me to publish it and push it out there. So logically, I was like, well, if I publish it, then if they lose it or spill water on it, they can always get another copy.
Yeah.
But I think that was my subconscious, like trying to find ways to work over my fear of like just putting it out there. But I really felt God impressed on me once I made the decision to publish it, that He said, you know, if you even help just one more person throughout time, like even if it's 50 years later and they pick up your book and it changed their life, like it would be worth it to have just shared it like more broadly.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what, done. Like, then I'll just do that. Like, who am I to be, I guess, selfish to like withhold any kind of insights or learnings from somebody. So
How old are you? So how old are your kids?
my 6 and 3.
Okay, so they haven't read the book.
Yeah, not yet.
No, but
I was
they're
like, I wonder if they,
let me tell you something. Her 3-year-old, that's my baby.
which means it's the wild one.
No,
Yeah.
he's not.
He's gonna be the ladies' man for sure.
He is the ladies'
He's
man,
gonna
though.
be the ladies'
Yeah,
man.
he
for
is
sure.
my baby. That and let me tell you something. He loves his Titi Kim. So
Okay.
anyway,
Sorry.
well, I think that's a great tribute to sharing what your knowledge is to the world, because I think that's what we're supposed to do, especially for Christian faith. Like you know what? Just faith driven. How about that? I won't even say just Christian. I just think that faith driven, we're supposed to broadcast and share our beliefs and everything like that, and just broadcast that.
Yeah.
You know what
life
I mean?
together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand, and I appreciate you writing this book.
Can I ask you, like,
Go ahead.
did you experience any tribulations, any issues, any obstacles while writing the book? Or do you
Yes.
feel like, okay,
Yes, and
what were,
I
like some stopping points for you?
I think the biggest one was the fear I had. I speak a little bit about it in the I think it's the introduction around it, but it's just the fear. Like, so I'm very much a people pleaser, growing up
Okay.
traditionally, very much a make everyone happy. Don't let anyone feel uncomfortable or weird or anything like that. So, especially about the faith perspective. So my biggest fear was that people were going to read this, and on opposite side of the spectrum, some people might think, oh wow, she's more religious than I thought that she was. And then
Okay.
I'm like
Okay.
ostracized, like how dare you be so Christian, too Christian.
Yeah.
And then on the
Talked
flip
about that
side,
today.
because I'm very much about like energetics and spirituality and pragmatic, like just logical reasoning, that I thought that other people, the Christians would look at me as, oh, you're not Christian enough, like you're open to other things or how it works or that sort of thing. So that took a lot. I know a lot of the stalling that took 6 or 7 years to write. I know a lot of that was just subconscious hesitation and avoidance.
It took 6 to 7 years to write.
6 to 7 years. One, just because it was time, but then also fear.
That's dedication.
That is.
Yeah.
That is. But it's
Something
so
worked
crazy.
3 months. I'm like, Papa Dios, I mean,
Like
really
for real.
want me to finish this? Like, 6
For
to
real.
7 years.
But it's so
That's
funny because we
amazing.
did have we did a workout this morning with
Faith RX,
Faith RX.
West Orlando chapter.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Woo,
to them.
shout out. And that was one of the questions. It was talking about violence and violence,
Holy violence.
holy violence. But at first it said violence, and then of course they tried to
And I got
explain it.
mad. Yeah, I said,
What
you
the
mean by that?"
what the holy violence is, and it's like we're supposed to be battling to get to the gates
Spiritual
of heaven.
warfare.
It's that spiritual warfare.
Like take a
And-
stance.
Exactly. Take a stance, right? And you took a stance. You took a stance no matter what it was, looking at everyone like, this is what I believe and this is what I want to share. And I want to fight through that. And I want to fight through those gates to get to where I'm at.
Yeah.
So I think that's just so spiritually. Are you crying? Because I want to cry too.
I am
Okay,
because
totally fine. Do we have tissues?
yes, it is.
It is no,
Me
it-
and her,
that was
And
today.
then when you drink, it just
it just makes it worse.
likelihood.
No, but that
But-
was today. That's crazy that you said that
So,
because that was today's
One of the
message.
questions was to us, to the people who were participating in
How are
this
you
thing,
gonna
was
fight?
like, what are the things that you face every day that have you hesitating
Yeah.
from fighting to get to that gate?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I spoke up, and I have to say, because
You were called out.
I was called out, but no. But even before
Because you
then,
don't speak up, and we need you because you,
Yes.
you can say things and
Yes.
you don't speak.
but
as
I
much
did
as you
speak
should.
up, even in my group, and I said, and
Good.
I have to say, like, you two are very. I just want to share with everybody on this thing, like, this girl and this girl, like, I was almost so scared to get them together because, these two, yeah. Oh, sorry, these. But I did speak out in the sense of what I fear and what I do, right? So little by little, I have learned to share. But before, I'll share this part of me, that I was always fearful of what people will look at me to say, oh, she's always talking about God. She's always talking about religion or faith or her faith or this and that. And I was always scared because I didn't want that perception. Like, I didn't want that to be my view of who I was.
Yeah.
Right? And I got scared because that's, even though I know I'm called to be that person, I still had fear, to be that.
Afraid to be canceled.
Afraid to be canceled.
That cancel culture.
Yeah, that
is real.
yes, exactly. And I think as I've gotten comfortable, because you have to get comfortable with who you are and what your calling is with God. And I think that's probably what you went through with the 6 to 7 years to build to get this
And
book.
also time. I mean, she is a COO. She
Yeah,
is a mom.
she's a lot. She has a lot going on
She
for
has a
herself.
lot.
Right,
She has a
right.
lot happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it could have been a little bit less than 6 to 7 years, right? But for me, it was more like not doing that. You know what I mean? Just with what I had going on, it was just, I was so fearful of being who I truly was called to be. And I just have to say that your book, that I get to be with you all the time. And it's just like,
So you see the authenticity. So she is walking
exactly
what she's writing.
She's an example of that. And I think that that's so important to have in your life, especially when you're faith driven. And I'm not going to say like, oh, you have to be Christian, you have to be Hindu. Like, there's so many different religions, but I think like you just need to have examples of the word.
Or just sit in a space of, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like. And just say, I'm rocking with it. This is how I am. Instead of flip-flopping according to what's the trend, what's in, what's now.
Yeah.
But in all of that, and in all of your roles, and I want you to be very, very raw with your answer. Do you feel accomplished?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel fulfilled. Like one of the things that I talk about in my book, and I don't know if accomplished, I guess, is where the definition, if you're just going to go there, but is one of the things I talk in my book is being very clear, and I talked about this actually a few weeks ago, but is really understanding the sobering truth that each moment is not promised.
Yeah.
Like I could not make it home after this podcast. Like, and if I truly understand that principle and truth, then it forces us to really live life without regrets.
Okay.
You know, and so I think from that point, I've lived the last several years really thinking through how do I live each day to make sure that if this is my last, that I live it to the fullest that I want to. And at the same time, there's this feeling I have in my spirit that I know God's like, you're not done yet. If that makes sense. You know, so like knowing it's like, let me take it for granted, and just knowing like there's more in my assignment that he still has yet to show me. And so as much as I can feel accomplished now, that I know that there's more work that he has out there for me to do.
Is it the work that you have to do with me?
Well, let's put an extra prayer out to Rowen. Extra prayer for Rowen, please.
Because she do with me every day. I mean, her and Tanya got to do with me every day, so I'm excited for them to exchange numbers.
Are you though?
I am.
Are you scared?
No,
I feel like she because we didn't talk about exchanging numbers yet.
No, we haven't.
She kind of planted the seed about like when we text, and then she just said it. But I feel like that might have been a like Freudian slip.
Yeah,
like you mean it, but you don't really mean it. You're just calling it out because you know
you
it's gonna.
guys are so great. So reading your book, Rowen, reading your book.
No, it's tough. I think I mean, with today's faith word that we had today, I feel it, at the end of the day, it's like we're checking off boxes, but we're not checking off the right boxes. That's why I asked you if you feel fulfilled or accomplished. There are days, many times, where I'm like, okay, I get lost in the busyness.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, I still feel empty in the sense of I had nothing accomplished. I was checking off the wrong boxes.
Yeah.
Ooh,
and so for me, I need to start reevaluating what that looks like.
Yeah.
So that I can feel more fulfilled and feel more, I don't know, like meaningful.
Substance.
Just
like have some type of substance.
Be in a healthier space, you know what I mean? Instead of going, oh yeah, I did this, and I go, but what did I do for myself? Did I get closer to God? Did I have a relationship with my children? Did I talk to my husband today? I need the things that matter, because, you know, washing dishes every day is not going to be on my tombstone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I could put it on there if you want.
No.
Is that
Oh, so I'm dying before you? That's what you're telling me? Like, you, what's in this drink? Espérate.
Wait, all I'm saying is, we talked about the 360. I said I want to, like, a party. I put that out
You're
there.
a party person.
so
Yeah.
anyway,
Go ahead.
It's not good. Go ahead.
well, one thing I just thought of when you were saying that, and earlier you're saying we're off topic, just whatever.
No,
comes up.
whatever comes
That's
to your
what
heart.
it is. Yes.
You made me think of a few years back when I was still with my old company. We had like a going away, like a retirement party for one of my dear work friends, like out on the East Coast. Shout out to Al Smith. And so it was a virtual get together. And they go around the circle and talk about, like, say a little bit of something about him if you feel compelled to.
Yeah.
And what was
That was
surprising when we ended that, me and a couple friends circled back after, we just kind of talk about the day, and then that came up, is we realized that out of everything that people said, they didn't talk about, wow, you had the best results. Oh, wow, you were the first always to, like, do this or achieve this or whatever.
How they
right?
made you feel.
It was the impact.
It was
Yeah.
how
the
they
impact.
made you feel.
And it goes back to that Maya Angelou thing, right? Like, people forget what you said or did, but not forget how you made them feel. And then I'll even share, because I talk to strangers all the time and have the best
I
conversations.
love that. Me too.
When
My
I was-
husband's like, you gotta stop talking to everybody. Why? I like it.
No, you talk to everybody like on the other side of the boat. Like, it's just crazy. We gotta
I
talk
feel
about
like I
that
gotta
another
be-
time.
Let's talk. I do that.
But I was in Vegas. I was checking into a hotel. I think it was like West End or something. And the front desk person, I got into a really good conversation with him. He had some experience with near-death life experiences or like crossing over. And there's like a whole association, like a international association for like a support group, right? For people who've had that kind of experience, because they can't if you've never had it, it's hard for them to connect with like people in their
Normal
like,
people.
exactly,
Right,
you know?
right. In their sense, yeah.
But what's fascinating is he shares how people who've had the near-death life experience, there's commonalities, even if they've lived in different parts of the world, different cultures, different whatever, that there's certain commonalities in their recollection where you have to think like, is that what happens then? Because how come that all happened in your story?
Right,
you know?
right.
And so one of the themes he talks about, anchored in Christian faith, since that's our common understanding right now, right? So you know how they talk about Christian faith, you die and you show up like at the gates and for judgment, and like God's there, right?
We talked about that today.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
That's crazy that you're bringing up a lot of stuff from today.
And he expresses how he's like, when you're there, he goes, it's not God, it's like elders. So they talk about like the communion of saints or things like that, right? But the, you know, in non-religious terms, they're saying like, yeah, there's a group of like elders or saints or people who've like gained their wings. And so they're there, and he says, you know, at that point you have to remember we're not physical anymore. So everything's more of like energy or like a feeling, an emotion, a sentiment. But essentially the question is posed to you, did you learn all the lessons that you were supposed to learn in your life? So implying that we chose the life we have, that there is full power in it, and that there is an intention and a purpose behind everything, and you know, all that stuff. And so it says, it's like instantaneously. When they ask you, did you learn all the lessons in your life? Boom, highlight reel of your life, flashes. Whether it's, you know, before your eyes or like in the sky, I don't know.
You had a highlight reel of your life.
Let me tell you, I'm gonna be the receptionist. I'm gonna probably be like,
you're gonna.
No, God said no. No, he said you didn't check
I don't
all
know.
the
Like,
boxes.
think about that. I love that you brought that up. Like, if I saw a highlight reel of my life.
But get this, there's a twist. Get the twist.
Oh, the
The
twist.
twist.
Dun, dun,
Dun, dun,
dun.
dun.
Where's up with you?
Dun,
Oh,
dun,
even
dun.
Rowen knows lacking, bro. Like she's
Stop drinking.
she said, you don't even know what the like bit is, like sound bit. Go ahead.
But he says, so the highlight reel occurs, but it's in the perspective of the people you've interacted with. Drop the
Ooh.
mic. You're done.
Drop
the mic,
The
you're done.
mic.
That's no Tulum. That's no Mexico.
I have fun in Tulum.
That's no
You wanna
Mexico trip.
talk
But
about
think about it. Okay. If Papa Dio sat there and goes, okay, Kim, let's see what you've been doing, girl.
Oh my God.
Let's
That's
hit.
so crazy.
Hold on. Let me hit play.
God, you're so funny.
No. He'll just look at you. He won't even look at the screen, ma'am.
And I'll be like, damn, guy, you got the
I
good
love that,
one.
but the people that you encounter. But so we don't always control who we encounter.
No.
Correct. Exactly.
Right? But we can control or make use of the time of that encounter. So
Exactly. And here's the
somebody-
benefit
yeah.
too, right? Because you're seeing it and you're like, oh, that's fine. And then you think of the drama in your life, or like when there's tension and you're like, oh, shoot, their version of the story might not be so cute, you know?
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
I don't know
but
about that.
Yeah,
But,
we're gonna work on you.
But you have to have the wisdom, the grace to realize that they get judged too,
They do.
right? And so how do you feel about that interaction? But at the end of the day, it's not about how everyone else is doing.
And
it's,
judgment.
It's just that awareness to say, at the end of the day, if it's how we connect with people and the love that we give or don't give or withhold, because at the end of the day, God is love. So are we giving love? Are we sharing God, not sharing God? To the extent that we do that truly and we're intentional about it, I think that's what he's measuring, you know, at any given point in time. I think the awareness of that is so cool. But so essentially the idea is because it's telepathic, so everyone senses it. Like it's an instantaneous, boom, this happens, you know? At the end of it, you already know, everyone already knows the answer. Was the answer yes, you learned all the lessons, or no, you did not learn all the lessons?
I'm gonna be the receptionist.
She's like, and
You know,
But
I
I
like the
think sometimes
Chick-fil-A.
we don't even-
I have a Chick-fil-A service. Like, you know me, I'd be like,
I'm sorry, people.
Hi.
It's fine. Totally fine.
my pleasure.
Well, here's the good news. We still got life to live. So
I still,
you know,
I gotta make some changes. I do know how to make some changes.
I feel, but sometimes I'm like, I think sometimes we don't know it's a lesson till it's over.
correct. Yes.
So sometimes I look at interaction, and I'm very Broadway-ish. Okay, play, act 1, scene 2, da-da-da, and then after I go,
Me too.
and then no, but we're at different plays. My Broadway play
Genres
is so
are
different than your Broadway.
Oh, my bad. Okay, moving on.
And so then I go, oh, what did I learn from that?
Mhm.
And I look back and go, oof,
Yeah.
I could have done that different, but that's my lesson.
Yes.
To say, okay, next time I'm in this situation, I'll do this and do that. So
Yes.
I feel like sometimes we don't learn it until after.
Can I tell you a hack?
Yeah.
So a hack is, now that you know that in hindsight, how do you apply it in
Now.
anticipation of,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So what I mean by that is, for me, and I'm not by any means perfect at it, like my husband will help correct me or help keep me in line with it, is, but whenever I'm going through a challenge, just training myself to say, where's the lesson?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the lesson? And the reality is, God tries to teach us the lessons in different ways, and the problem keeps showing up until we learn
And the lessons
lesson.
could be different. So the lesson that your husband got would be completely different from your lesson.
Correct. Yes.
Same situation,
Yes. Exactly.
completely different lesson.
Agreed. Yes.
And we learned, well, one of the coaches today talked about that when she's struggling, she'll text her husband, tell me. That's all. And I was like, tell me. My husband would be like, tell you what? What you want to know? Hey. And I'm like, that wouldn't work with my husband. But she goes, but hold on, let me explain. She goes, so there's a scripture about being anxious for nothing. We're in a small community group with Max Lucado, great book, by the way. But it talked about being anxious for nothing. But when she or he text each other, tell me randomly, it's they're struggling through something. Tell me what I'm doing right. Remind me to be anxious for nothing. And I thought that was amazing because sometimes we just go through life and it's hard sometimes.
Yeah.
And if you have that person that you can just say, tell me. Tell me something. Tell me what I'm doing right. Tell me what I need to change. Just give me a scripture. Pray for me. Just something. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing that, by the way, Pa, so get it right.
Oh, okay. Don't be texting her.
She's gonna be
Tell
like,
me.
you're not
Tell me
going
what
to-
time you coming home.
Or like,
tell me
tell me what you wearing, girl. No, it's none of that. It's
Tell me other stuff.
Tell me what you cooked.
Oh,
say, I
okay.
was
He
gonna
did
say
the
Chick-fil-A, be like,
voice.
what do I
tell
eat
me
for
what
dinner?
you cooked. No, I can't. I just can't. It's fine.
Listen,
But
It's-
I love
tell
the
me.
beauty in that, because it just goes to show, and it connects a little bit to that, like letting go of an old anxiety. Is this world has trained us to have to like protect ourselves or say it, but we're not saying it. Versus if we could just authentically go to whoever in the world
yeah.
and just say, "This is what I'm struggling with." Like,
Tell me.
like, "Hey, I'm feeling vulnerable right now. I need to feel reassured." But we don't actually say that to people ever, because part of the time we don't even tell it to ourselves, so we're not even aware that that's what we need or what we're feeling or what we're thinking.
Sometimes I don't know if we're honest with ourselves.
I could tell you that.
I go a lot of the time. I go a lot of the time. We're not.
Yeah, I feel like we're like, you good?
But are
Struggling,
you?
crying. Just I don't think we're honest, truly honest with ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, you know. And she's starting to know. Like where
I'm sorry.
I shut
We're gonna be such good friends, Rowen.
where I shut down. And like she'll just send me a message and just be like, "You good?" And I'm like,
You mean shut down like she just like MIA type that shut down?
yeah, I get
For
quiet.
some reason, she just goes quiet. I'm like,
It is a
You
different
usually text
quiet.
me every couple hours. Where you at?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just a different type of quiet. It's just a, and it's so funny because we did talk about that today too. Like we internalize our own issues and we don't want to advocate or look for help or ask for help. And it's not even that asking for help, it's more of tell me.
tell me. That's my new
We
hashtag.
don't
Tell me.
my
Tell me,
hashtag is
what
not
can
for
I
everybody.
start? What can I stop? What can I continue?
But I think for
Tell
us,
Yeah.
for us is more like, I mean, for me and some other people probably, that we just internalize it and we're just like, I don't want to tell anybody our problems because I don't want to be that nag. One, I don't want everybody to be like, she's always complaining about something. I don't. I want to just deal with what I'm dealing
So
with.
you don't like being vulnerable?
Zoom in to the face.
I'm like,
Rowen's like, zoom into that right there because that's a good face right there.
yes.
So yes, it is a vulnerability issue.
I think you're vulnerable-ish.
To a point.
Okay.
I don't do it with everyone.
Yeah. I think you fake happiness a lot.
I do. Because it looks good. It looks good. It's an impression. It's
If
an
I
impression.
see it, you say it looks good to you. But if I see it, that means people see that you're faking happiness a lot.
But I don't
Everything's
care
fine.
about
I'm
everybody
fine.
else.
Everything's fine. You're fine. Everything's fine. I'm fine. No, sometimes we have to just I
minute.
am speaking to myself.
Yeah.
I'm not very vulnerable.
Yeah.
I'm very guarded. I'm working on that, but I also am not faking the funk in the sense of I'm not gonna pretend to be happy when I'm not. You know?
Well, I will speak for a lot of people that are probably listening in our on our in our fan base that
in
say,
this country and out of the country.
yeah, that we fake it till we make it. Like we fake it till we make it.
Internationally.
But seriously, we do fake it till we make it because I will say that I get into my moment.
Yeah.
I shut down. I assess everything. Sometimes I go to work and then she tells me what we got to do, and I'm like, bet, and I'm got it, and I'm good. And once everything's done, I'm like, whew, better, happy. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Hey.
Yeah.
I'm better because I
I'm not.
assessed and I did what I had to do to get better. But it causes a lot of conflict, and I know I'm not the only one.
Yeah,
I know I'm not
sure.
the only one.
Of course.
But to get back to some of the questions, how do you find, Rowen,
Yes.
Balance in all the things.
balance in all that?
Like you hold so many titles.
Yes.
How do you?
Yeah, you.
Well,
okay.
first of all, I'm a firm believer that you don't find balance, you create it, right? And it's when you juggle so many different things, you have to create that space. I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn, but how did you create balance with all of your titles, and how do you still give 100%, or maybe you're not giving 100% to some of those titles that you hold? Yeah.
Okay, so I would go with, there's a phrase, I just posted on it recently too, where it says, it was actually it was a CHRO at my prior company years ago who had said it, and they said, like, you can have everything, just not everything at the same time. And younger me was like, oh, she don't know me. Like,
I can have all the things.
I can have it all, boo.
Sorry, that was you, my dear. And then I, went through life and I realized, I get it. It's a journey. Is you focus on what's the priority now, you build that foundation, then you build the other piece, right? So it's my specific journey was
like compound interest.
It's like, let me hustle and focus on my career first, just because that happened to be the way my story played out, right?
Yeah.
And because I did that, it set me up. So then when I had my relationship, that I could like focus on Marcus, and then we focus on that, where now we have kids, and it doesn't, it wasn't really like we would resent each other, because we're focused on the kids and like not enough on each other or anything, And like now we're in this phase where we get to focus on each other again, And so I think it's just being intentional to see, I guess, balance, but it's more of like, what brings you joy? Like, what would be joy in serving for the greater good, and learning to focus on that. So getting clarity on, are the things that I think I want to do or achieve or be or have an impact on, is it truly because it's the right thing, or is it because it's what the world's told me that I need to focus on? Or
And we talked about that today too.
It's
The worldly things.
synergies.
I love that. Yeah, it's
And
so true.
what I found is that ultimately it comes when you can get really clear, and this is why I'm very passionate about helping people find their life purpose. So it's the last chapter,
Which is the book.
Is it
I was just about to say that. I was like, it's in the book. I know she's in the book.
one of those, but it's getting really clear, like being able to reflect, and it took me like 7 years to do, but get really clear and articulate, why did God create you? Like, what is the mission that you
What
have?
is my purpose? I ask for that. My prayers. I always go, what's my purpose?
Yeah.
Because my mind is so full of noise, and I know that a lot of that noise is just not important.
Yeah.
What's my purpose?
Yeah.
What's my purpose? Show me my purpose. Show me my purpose. It's hard.
It's
Crazy
crazy.
to work together, because
Yeah.
I feel like it's one where we know it, and what I talk about childlike state.
Yeah.
It's as children,
Which
we
is my
already
next question.
we already know what it is. But what happens is we start to hear the voices of our caregivers or the people around us, and those expectations versus like the innate wisdom that we know as children of like what our gifts
And
are.
I think we give too much power to those
Yes, 100%.
voices and those influences. They don't deserve it.
Totally.
No.
And that's not in a negative way. Just, I'm giving you too much power. Like, what are we doing? And I had this conversation the other day. I was like, my mom went through something and she got so upset. And I said, you just gave them so much power over you by just saying something. And although it wasn't the right thing, it changed you. Your heart started hurting. Your blood pressure went up. I'm like, it went up. Why did you give them so much power? But we do that daily. We don't realize it.
Yeah.
I could meet you in 2 seconds. I'm saying I, as in the world. You say something, and it affects me so much in someone that I've known for 10 years. Why are we doing that? So I think we misplace our trust. We misplace our focus. We just misplace a lot of those things on for people that just don't deserve it. You know what I mean? Like people social media when, we post things and they put stuff in comments and I just go, delete.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you that power over me. I don't care if you don't feel the way I feel. I'm open to perspective, but if you're gonna be disrespectful, delete.
Yeah.
Like I'm just not there, right? But so many people are. It weighs heavy on them. You have actors and actresses and so many people. They're like, oh my God, these internet trolls. I'm like, they're only a troll because you allow them to be trolls. Like the
'Cause
minute
I would
you
delete.
take away that power, it just
Don't let yourself
erases
get
them.
triggered.
It erases them. So I'm with you on that. I do love that.
Can you explain the childlike state and how you put that in your personal and business?
What's a childlike state? Yeah, tell me.
Yeah.
Childlike state would be it's back to who we were as kids before the world messed us up. Right? So when you look at kids, it's like it's all joy, it's all awe, it's all wonder. There's
no worries, no stress.
there's no storylines. There's no it was good or bad. There's
Hopscotch,
no
wearing
harboring
jellies,
resentment,
dirty
or
feet.
upset,
Yep.
all that, right? And so it's in my book I call it the duality. So there's our human state and then our spirit state or spirit identity. So spirit identity is the childlike identity, right? Forgiveness, love, joy, playfulness, all that stuff. And then you look at the human state, and it harbors a little more less of that, like more like lust or unforgiveness, or And so, for me, childlike state is I really started to get in tune with it when I had kids. Yeah, the moment that it was for me, I had some awareness because I do self-development courses and stuff, and
I need to take that class.
I'm with her over time. I'm learning, and I still learn. And I feel like I'm in a childlike state.
You
But
are.
She tells
You
me,
legit,
no,
you
you're
are.
not.
But
I
she's
need
always
you to
like,
get ready.
joking. I'm like, that's serious. I feel like we should
super
be serious
playful
right now.
though, super playful.
Super
It's so
playful.
good, but
Yeah.
it's good because it's a good balance for me because I can get super serious.
But then I get mad. I'm like, that's not funny. I feel upset. It's fine. Everything is fine. No, it's not.
She'd be like, they're late with the food for for our Christmas party. And I'm like, it's okay. It's fine.
I'm like, so we're supposed to eat half a meal?
I'm like,
Who
yes.
does that?
That's a diet plan. We're going to look at it as a diet plan.
That's the planner in me. If I tell you to bring food, come at certain times so that we can all eat together. It's fine though. It's totally fine.
You guys get that. And I'm like, it's okay. Guys, it's fine.
But it's not though.
Whoever eats it, eats it. If not, they take it back home. It's fine.
No,
Like,
no, it's not. It's not.
Drink some more.
just
We're
drink some
gonna
more.
be fine.
Everybody's fine.
is good.
Everybody's good. Good.
Liquid diet. Liquid
But
diet.
anyway, go ahead, as you were saying.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Childlike and then
kids.
spiritual.
Yes.
Yes, kids.
So as my kids, I already knew that our brains are pretty much programmed by the time we're 6 years old. And so our personalities, our belief system, everything.
You don't think
By
we can
6 years
change
old.
after 6?
You can change, but it's
Your course.
the reality is you just absorb your environment at that point in time.
Because we had this conversation the other day.
Was
He's like, I was like, I've changed so much.
Yeah.
He's like, your core is still the same. I'm like,
But have you?
But have you,
like,
like
I
the
don't-
voice is
How
like,
dare you?
have you?
no, I was like, what was that? Was that God coming?
But did you?
But I was like, I feel like I've changed. But okay, I can see that now. So at 6, you are who you are.
Yeah.
And then
pretty
you
much it's mapped.
absorb your environment.
Because you've already absorbed your environment. And again, you can modify and change, but I guess the idea is your true belief system, you don't even realize it's there because it's all subconsciously programmed, like when you're younger, right? So I'll give an example is, when people say, oh, feedback is a gift. But if it's a gift, then how come you feel shitty when it's constructive feedback?
Right.
Do you feel shitty when they give you a Christmas gift? Right? Like, no.
Right.
You know? And so the reality is,
That is
no,
true.
then you don't believe it.
Okay.
You think you believe it, you want to believe it, but you have to look and say, what does your behaviors, your reaction actually reveal to you about what you actually believe and who you actually are? And so I have it in my book. I call it the IBOW grid, the identity, beliefs, actions, outcomes breakdown. But it's what I do when I'm with clients. When I get to know them, I get to really understand, like, who do they believe that they are and who do they strive they want to be, and like all that, right? And with that comes certain behavior patterns, right? And then I just watch how they actually behave. And then I just map.
Which could be completely opposite. I love God. What do you? What do you? I just saw you doing some stuff. I don't know.
And it's but it is, and so I just watch. But I think the benefit that I have, or that I tried to do, because I know my own mess, right, and I know the grace that I need when I've had to face my own demons, right, is learning to not put that on other people too, right? So when my clients,
I had to learn that.
yeah, so when my clients mess up, it's like, it's okay, I still love you, I'm here, like,
Yeah.
you can still do good again next time, like, that's fine, let's go,
Yeah.
you know, and just giving them a loving, caring space to do that.
I don't think a lot of corporations though give grace.
No,
Yeah.
Their grace is measured by note to file, verbal warning, written warning, final.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
that's I
It's the
feel like
process.
the measurement of grace.
yeah,
Totally,
Instead
yeah.
of you're good.
Yeah.
What's happening? And
Yeah.
so when I managed at one point 47 people, and that was a struggle for
Yes.
me by myself. And I thought I can't veer away from servant leadership. What can I do to help you? How can I give you resources? But then it got the best of me.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where I was like, how do I not dilute that quality of leadership, but then not also fade away in that leadership? That was a struggle for me.
Yeah.
And so then my daughter, who has a degree in human psych, she's like, you have to meet them where they're at. You're doing too much. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, they're giving you 50, but you're giving them 100, which means you're giving your 100
More.
and they're 50. Stop doing that. And I was like, oh, dang it. When your kid enlightens you, I'm like, I paid for that degree. What happened? But it's true. And so you start doing things just a little differently and thinking things differently. But I still give grace because God gives me grace every day.
yeah.
And it's like, how do I not give this person grace? But also, how do you have that fine line of, I don't want them to take advantage of me as a leader,
Totally.
right? And then still, but I want to empower people to be a better version of themselves if you want it. If you don't want it, now I have to.
So Rowen has to hear me talk about this all the time.
Why? With this one person?
With many people.
Oh, okay.
It's just as to be a leader of a group, and I just want to share with our staff. I mean, with our audience, is that we're in leadership, and you might not be in leadership, but no matter what position you are, you're a leader. You know what I mean? Like,
you could lead
and
one person.
you could
10
just
people.
lead one
Yeah.
person, but you have to be an example, right? And that's, I feel like I was put on this earth for a reason, right? And Rowen sometimes has to help me see the reason.
Rowen, help me see the reason. What?
I feel like Rowen.
What's Kim's purpose?
I'm still pensive. Like, what story is she gonna tell about?
No, but I mean, for real, like, I have to sometimes, like, you're not privy to seeing it clearly. You know what I mean? As being a leader, it's not easy to lead other people because everybody has a different perspective of life, right? Or their purpose, right? And so you kind of have to just kind of like guide them and love them through whatever purpose they.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you a little bit because
I'm telling you, Rowen's right here.
Yeah.
She says to me, I got love through
I
everything.
and I said a
She
little
said,
bit.
and even my CEO said, you got love through it.
I'm
Don't
waiting
do
for you
it.
to finish.
Go, say it.
You can still love them and not agree with them. And you can
Agreed.
still love them
Yeah.
and guide them in a different direction.
Yeah.
When I love you, that doesn't mean I have to agree with you.
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean I have to rock with you. That
Right.
means I love you and I can love you from afar. And that was my issue before.
This is what I learned from my ex-boyfriend, girl.
Marcus, you're not listening.
No,
She don't have an ex that was nobody before you,
no,
Marcus.
you know, like from a good. No, he knows. He knows.
He knows.
No, but think about
he's
that.
so
Like
good.
I have to love people from afar.
Yeah.
I can't, and just like
this
you
doesn't
don't have
work.
you don't have to forgive someone and they remain in your life. And so having 47 different personalities, I was stir crazy. I was just
I
like,
bet.
I'm a fixer. How can I fix? How can I help? What can I do? And I was like, they may not want to be helped.
Yeah.
They may be happy in their space.
Yep.
Who am I to say, you have to change? You have to, no. Here are your rules. Here are your expectations. Follow them. If you don't, tell me and I'll help you get there. But if you don't, note to file.
First
Verbal
warning.
warning. Written warning. Final warning. We're good.
We're good. We're taking a break. We're coming back with Rowen. We're gonna finish up, and we have some dating issues that we want
dating. I
her
wanna know
perspective
about
of.
dating.
So
I was gonna say we have dating issues.
I don't. She has dating issues.
okay, I need some help. Help me. What is
remember
the
Stuart?
word? What
Remember
is
Stuart
the?
from Mad TV? Look what I can do.
All right, we'll be right back.